Hello and welcome to Weekly World News, where we examine a couple stories that struck our fancy this week. Dateline Pakistan. Restrictions on Benazir Bhutto have been lifted. The Pakistan government announced plans to lift a state of emergency within 1 month, which is still too long, and hold parliamentary elections by February 15th. President General Pervez Musharraf imposed the state of emergency on November 3rd, insisting it was necessary to help fight Islamic extremists. Musharraf imposed emergency rule last weekend and suspended the Constitution, triggering widespread protests in his own country and setting off a flurry of diplomatic efforts in Washington to get him to restore democratic rule. After nearly a week, Musharraf yielded somewhat to pressure from the United States on Thursday and said Pakistan would hold parliamentary elections by mid-February. A month later than originally planned, tensions in Pakistan further intensified early Friday morning when Pakistani police surrounded Benazir Bhutto's Islamabad home. Even though she was never officially under house arrest, they surrounded her home. She tried to leave by car, but was blocked by police after a scuffle with her supporters who tried to remove a barricade. 5,000 of her supporters were detained. Dateline Finland. Flags flew at half-staff around Finland a day after 18-year-old Pekka-Erik Auvinen killed 8 people at his high school Wednesday and then shot himself. He died later. Hours earlier, Auvinen had posted a video on YouTube anticipating his rampage, with material that may have been inspired by the 1999 Columbine shootings. One of Auvinen's YouTube videos showed a photo of what appears to be his high school while the song Stray Bullet by industrial rock band KMFDM played. Auvinen also called for a popular uprising against the enslaving, corrupted, and totalitarian regimes and grinned after taking target practice at an apple with a handgun and waved at the camera. The shooter's videos on YouTube were removed by the site and his account suspended. My question to all of you, could it have been stopped by any of us? Dateline Washington. Representative Dennis Kucinich has succeeded in keeping alive his privileged resolution calling for the House Judiciary Committee to begin impeachment proceedings against Vice President Dick Cheney. The House Democratic leadership tried all manner of parliamentary tricks to table or kill H.R. 333, but these underhanded tactics failed after John Boehner and the Republicans' Beltway consultants told them they could milk political gain from helping Kucinich keep impeachment alive. Now, some House members not even associated with Kucinich's resolution are now openly calling for immediate hearings into Cheney's impeachable actions, specifically lying the country into a war in Iraq and threatening war with Iran. One indication of the change in the political climate in the House is the announcement by Representative Robert Wexler, a 6th-term congressman and member of the House Judiciary Committee, that he will call for the Judiciary Committee to take up Kucinich's impeachment bill. This is significant because Wexler, who is no left-wing hothead, is not a co-signer of Kucinich's bill. Another bill to keep your eyes on in the coming weeks, H.R. House Rule 1955, which is titled the Violent Radicalization and Homegrown Terrorism Prevention Act of 2007, which has now been referred to Senate committee after being received and passed in the House. In it, there's this kind of language. The Congress finds the following: the development and implementation of methods and processes that can be utilized to prevent violent radicalization, homegrown terrorism, and ideologically based violence in the United States is critical to combating domestic terrorism. The Internet has aided in facilitating violent radicalization, ideologically based violence, and the homegrown terrorism process in the United States by providing access to broad and constant streams of terrorist-related propaganda to United States citizens. What are they watching? Oh well. Not this show. On our commentary tonight, we have ElainaWannaBe. We'll be talking more about the Kucinich bill. Take it away, Elaina.
Hi, it's me, ElainaWannaBe. This week, Dennis Kucinich went on the floor of the House to try to start an uprising. He tried to file papers against our Vice President, Richard Cheney. Can you imagine such a thing at such a time? Now is not the time for silly things like the Constitution. There are bigger issues at stake here. There is a war to win, freedom to spread, democracy is on the march, and we need to make sure that it continues marching away from home. We want it to spread like wildfire. Yes, we want it to spread, but not like a wildfire, like frosting on a cake. Yes, like frosting. A thick layer of scrumptious, delicious frosting. Who doesn't like frosting? It can cover a multitude of sins. With a thick layer of it, we can hide almost anything. I mean, almost anything will get better with frosting on top. You know who doesn't like frosting? Musharraf. A lot of Iranian citizens, in fact, don't like frosting. No, that's not true. Iranian citizens probably do like frosting. But Musharraf definitely does not. I think he's on record for this. Yes, definitely. I bet that Kucinich fellow doesn't like frosting either. He wants everything just on the table as it is. Yes, I'm almost positive. Both Musharraf and Dennis Kucinich are on record for not liking frosting. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaina. Thank you for joining us for 1 week's... What is it? 1 week's world news? 1 week's world news. 1 week's news. One world's news. Week world news. Week's world news. World news for the week? What are we calling this? What are we calling this? Elaina, what are we calling this? Oh, she's frosting something. Thank you for watching Weekly World News. And have a great week. And, yeah. Okay. Now, Elaina, put that down. Put the spatula down. Elaina, please. Are we off? What? What?